What's up everybody, it's Roman Gaming here. So really quickly before I get into the actual topic for this video, I want to get two things out of the way. First thing is that of course you'll realize that the video on this PS4 Pro situation now is about 2 days late after the announcement. Reason why is of course because my internship has started, and I just wanted to quickly get that out of the way is the fact that I won't be able to do these type of reactions videos, you know, in-depth stuff on news that has to get out there immediately. I won't be able to do it in time. I have super long work days, you know, that last, as I said, you know, 8 hours or something in total of working, and then I get home late and very tired, and I'm just not able to get these out in time. It sucks, but it's gonna be like that for pretty much 5 months, and in February of next year, I'm gonna be done with that completely, and I'll be able to focus much more on videos again. But yeah, you will still get lots of videos coming out. It's just these type of reaction videos to news out there, I won't be able to do them always, you know, early in time or whatever, immediately when we get the news. And the second thing really, you know, I know it sucks to talk about it as a YouTuber, it always comes across a bit like begging, but I wanted to quickly tell you that I've noticed that the amount of likes I get on a video now recently really haven't been that great. People just forget about it after a while. I myself never remind people that much of doing that, you know, if I do then it's at the end of the video I guess, but I just wanted to make you realize that is that, you know, if you, because there's still a lot of people watching, but they just don't always take the time to do that, and I want to make you realize that even though it might not seem like a big deal to you, as a YouTuber it really helps me out when a video gets liked, because that means that it's able to reach out to other new people to check my videos out. So it just helps me grow a lot, and if you like the videos that I put out, you really enjoy them, then please know that that means a lot to me, and it's not a big deal to people like you at all to, you know, just take a few seconds to hit that like button. So if you could do that out of yourself so I don't have to ask for it all the time, that would be awesome, and then I really appreciate that. But for now, I wanted to get into the topic of course, the thing that's everybody, you know, that's everybody been talking about for, what is it, yeah, the last 2 days now already, the PS4 Pro announcement that Sony had at that press conference. Now you've kind of seen my reactions, you've seen my initial thoughts to it. I've come around a little bit, I guess, in a way. I have a slightly different opinion now, but it's just, this video especially is going to be about the kind of misconceptions that I've been hearing a lot now. You know, from people, because they just don't seem to really get it, and I don't blame them, because there are so many terms being thrown around right now. Sony, first of all, let me say that, is doing a really bad job at just making it so confusing in a way, because yeah, the terms that we're dealing with here, 4K, HDR, upscaling, resolution, frame rate, graphics, so many things people are talking about. No wonder that a lot of the, you know, the people on Twitter and stuff are very confused at what exactly is going on here, and on top of that, you get all these companies that try to spin things around and make it seem like it's really in their favor. So what I'm particularly referring to here is, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make kind of a comparison between the Xbox One S, of course, that has just been released a few months ago, I think, the PS4 Pro that's coming out at the end of this year, and then we have the Xbox One Scorpio that we're looking to next year, of course, in fall 2017 coming out. Now, this is the thing, right, is that when Sony announced the PS4 Pro, there were a couple of good upsides, and there also seemed to be some downsides to it, and you immediately saw Microsoft reacting to that on Twitter with a tweet where, I'm gonna put it up right now to quickly check it out, and you'll see it here in the video. They say, you know, 4K streaming and Blu-ray check, HDR gaming check, greatest games 40% smaller, the Xbox One S is only $299, so basically get it now, right? And what I saw a lot of people how they reacted to that is basically that they felt like the Xbox One S is gonna offer the exact same thing that the PS4 Pro offers, and maybe even more in a way, for a smaller price, but that's just not true at all. And this is the thing, is that there is actually quite a difference, and that's what a lot of people are not realizing. And of course, when we get the Scorpio coming out next year, it's gonna be the most powerful console. Let me get that straight. Everything Microsoft has said so far about the Scorpio makes it seem like, and it confirms it basically already, that that is by that point going to be hands down the most powerful console. Let me quickly get that out of the way, just to make it clear to you that yes, I'm looking at this in a very realistic way, and that's simply the way it is. But this whole Xbox One S and PS4 Pro story, right? So here's the thing, is that First of all, news came out that the PS4 Pro is not going to have a 4K Blu-ray player, and at the same time the Xbox One S, you know, pretty much the slim version of the Xbox One for $299 will have that. Now, of course, yes, there's no denying that. That's a downside to the PS4 Pro and the Slim. You know, neither of them have it, so that's a thing that the Xbox One does have, and that's definitely very applaudable, right? But at the same time, what people need to realize, we're talking about a 4K Blu-ray player here. This only matters to movies. Now, I can't speak for everybody out there, I can only speak for myself. I haven't even watched a single Blu-ray movie on my PS4 personally, you know. If I watch movies, well, I don't really watch that many movies, but when I do, I either, you know, just stream them or whatever, but I don't actually use discs, you know, Blu-ray discs. Haven't bought a Blu-ray disc probably ever, actually, myself, you know, to watch that. So, for a 4K Blu-ray player missing isn't really that big of a deal unless you are planning to watch actual 4K Blu-ray movies on your console, and you'll probably still have another spot where you're already doing that if you like that so much. And then at the same time, we also had the story that existing PS4 games will apparently not be native 4K or whatever, and maybe the rest won't even either. And that's the thing, is that when that was being talked about, it was very clear that we're talking about the games that are already out there on PS4 right now that haven't been developed for 4K at all. Those games will of course not be native 4K. They are going to be upskilled, so the 4K you're even getting on this PS4 Pro is not going to be actual 4K. Now, you can get actual 4K. That's what, for example, the developers of Horizon have talked about. They are going to do native 4K for their game apparently. But yeah, that's gonna obviously come with all the new games, or the games that are gonna have that patched in. But then it's still really gonna be a question if the console is actually powerful enough to give you a 4K experience where the frame rate is not gonna completely suffer from that, or where the game is just gonna look terrible. That's really what I'm wondering about this. Is that if games are gonna do native 4K, is that gonna be worth it? Because not a lot of people are even gonna have 4K TVs, let's be very honest with that. And then at the same time, the games won't run that great because of the 4K resolution. It's only gonna introduce downsides to other aspects that way. So those are no doubt downsides that the PS4 has, is that it's not going to be able to do 4K games natively very well probably, and there is no 4K Blu-ray player. But the big difference, the thing that I wanted to talk about with you all, is of course what so many people are not realizing, and what I guess the Xbox tweet here that I just talked about is kind of hiding in a way, is that the GPU of the PS4 is so much improved. We're literally talking about a GPU that's twice as powerful as that in the original PS4, meaning that the console is going to be a 4.2 teraflops like the rumors already had said. And the Xbox One S, what people need to realize there, the Xbox One S is still less powerful than the original PS4. By the time this Pro PS4 comes out, it is going to be such a big improvement over both the original PS4 and the Xbox One S that you're really gonna notice it in the games. Trust me, the games that simply stay 1080p or let's just say 1080p are gonna be able to have much better frame rates or much better graphics. Let's be real there. That's actually going to happen. For example, they've already confirmed for Rise of the Tomb Raider, what they're gonna be doing is they're gonna be doing, you can pretty much pick out of three solutions or three ways you want to play the game. One is going to be 4K, where it's definitely going to struggle to run it that way, as I said. 30 frames per second, not going to look that good, but at least it's going to be very sharp in 4K. You're going to get a 1080p 30 frames per second option where the graphics will be completely turned up. That game is gonna look way better on PS4 Pro in 1080p 30 than it did on the Xbox One in, what was it? I think it was 720p 30. It's actually gonna look much better. And then there's even gonna be a 1080p 60 frames per second mode. That says a lot. If you go from the Xbox One version of 720p 30 frames, also on Xbox One S, to this version that's gonna be 1080p 60 frames, maybe not looking as good, maybe slightly worse, but still 1080p 60 frames per second, that's a massive difference, you know. And that's what this new GPU is doing here, is it actually means that the console is gonna be much more powerful than the previous ones. And I guess that's the big thing that Sony did not really convey that well, is that it is actually quite more powerful, but you know, instead they were talking about 4K and about upscaling and all this kind of stuff that really is not that big of a deal if you think about it. And the Xbox One does do some of the same stuff, at least, I mean, it does, for example, support the Xbox One S supports 4K streaming of movies and stuff. So in that way, it might be very confusing and it might be hard to see what the actual upsides are to the PS4 Pro. But yeah, the GPU is so much more powerful that it is going to be, you know, a pretty, I mean, not like super significant generational step, but it's going to be that mid-gen step that you want it to be, I think. And therefore, I'm still very interested to get a PS4 Pro myself. And of course, you know, we haven't talked about the HDR, but that's cool as well. HDR support for all PS4s across the board. So, you know, Xbox One S has it. The Xbox One Scorpio will too. The original did not have it. All the PS4s will have HDR support, but yeah, I mean, that's a cool thing, I guess. But really what it is about to me that I wanted to share with you is that story about the GPU power, because that's what people are kind of looking over right now. While it is probably the biggest deal out of everything, is it is going to be a much more powerful console, and you're gonna see that especially coming back in the way these developers are gonna handle the games that are not gonna be running at 4K. The games that are simply gonna stick 1080p are now gonna have, you know, much better graphics or better frame rates on this Pro version, and that definitely means that it will be a much more you know, a much bigger step than people might have initially thought it was, and that they kind of fell down on in a way, maybe even. So with that being said, yeah, those are my thoughts on the PS4 Pro. I'm definitely going to be getting one, but by the time the Xbox One Scorpio comes out next year, hands down, that will be a more powerful console, because they've already confirmed 6 teraflops for that one. It's going to have a much better GPU there, and the games will no doubt run better. There's no denying there for sure. I'm just saying right now, the Xbox One is probably going to bite the dust for the next full year that Sony still has with this PS4 Pro, because it is going to be much more powerful. Now, with that being said, thanks everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. Of course, as I said, leave a quick like to support me. Helps me out a lot. And then for now, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again next time.